Hey friends, you are crafting with Kim Byers, and today is going to be fun. So it is July, I know, but we are going to do some Christmas crafts. So I'm just really excited about this. I found a ton of Christmas ornaments this week, yes, absolutely this week in Hobby Lobby. They've already started to put out their things, and so I just couldn't resist. I grabbed a bunch of things and we are going to make some really fun crafts today. We're gonna make my ornament for my Christmas tree for this year, but we're also going to make some ornaments that would be great for like gift tags and things like that. So we're gonna do multiple kinds, and I have all kinds of ideas for future ones that I wanna make as well. I actually bought more than what we're gonna go through today, so I'm really excited about that. So if you have not already, hit that subscribe button and join me for all my future videos. And by the way, if you ever craft with me, you know that I love to hear from you guys in the comments. Pop down and say hi. Let me know what you're making. Let me know if you think it's too early to be Christmas crafting. Let me know if you have things on your to-do list as well. Candidly, guys, I just get, by the end of the year, like by November, December, I am so busy. And I bet you guys are too, where you're like, you know, you have parties, you have events, and you have food, you're making all these things, and it's hard to find the time to do all the crafting that you want to do. And so this year, I'm just going to start early so I can get the things done that I want to get done. And trust me, do not worry, I have back to school and Halloween and fall and all those things on my to-do list as well. But today we are doing some Christmas fun. Okay, so let's hop over to the craft table and let me show you what we're doing. Okay, so here we are on the craft table, and I have so much on the craft table today, like with all of the supplies to do these with, that I can't show you everything all at one time. So I'm gonna start with the ornaments. So these are actually cookie cutters, and aren't they so cute? I mean, you could use them as ornaments, but they're also, I actually was thinking like gift tags, but you could use them as ornaments, and we're going to embellish these. And then these I just got from like the little woodworking section. So these were not actually ornaments, these were just really cute as little signs. And then these of course are ornaments. So Hobby Lobby has the ornaments that you would find, like when I was in high school, you know, there was like in the mall, there was like that little stand that was set up and you could get the personalized ornaments. That's what this is. And so we're going to use our Cricut to personalize these. And then these are actually little ornaments. They look like Christmas lights. So I have a million ideas for this. We're going to do one with these today, but these I wouldn't be surprised if you saw those show up on the channel a couple more times. And then these are acrylic rounds. So I was originally thinking about doing sublimation with these, but these are not the sublimation kind. They didn't have those at Hobby Lobby. So I picked these up and we are going to use vinyl on these. So I'm really excited about how these are going to turn out. Okay, so let's go ahead and let me show you all the materials that we're going to use. Okay, so I have vinyls. I have different colors of greens and reds and white, and then I have paint, so I have all different colors. There's more on here than we're actually going to use because I want to kind of, you know, look at them and talk to you about them and that kind of thing. And then I have pens. We're going to be using the Cricut Joy, but you could use any of your Cricuts to do these projects. And then I have a paintbrush and some things like that to keep us tidy as we work. And by the way, I also have out my glass craft mat today because it's so easy to do paint projects and things on. It cleans up so well. So I'll have that linked up down below, and I actually have a coupon for that one too. Okay guys, so let's hop over to Cricut Design Space. I'll show you the designs and then we'll pop back over and get them made. Okay, so here we are in Cricut Design Space, and so these are the ornaments that we're going to be working with. So you can kind of look at these and guess what they are from our trip over to the craft table. So basically this is going to be our little ornament, and I thought it'd be really fun to do like our first Christmas, you know, at a new house, and then put the year of the new house on this little shape. And so this black piece, just as a reminder, that's not actually being cut. So the black, this white, and even the shape of the little light bulb, I just went in 2 shapes and pulled in a shape that would be indicative of, you know, whatever I'm putting this onto. So I put those there, I color them, whatever the color that they are, just to help me do a representation so I can kind of design it. And then once I've done that, then when I go to cut these, I just turn those off. And so like for the little house here, so we'll go down and we'll turn off that square. but for now I like to be able to see that it's on something. So then for these are going to be the acrylic circles, and so I have these little lights. I just thought these were adorable, and my boys are very traditional. They like red and green, so we're going to stick with those colors for this. And then I am actually going to paint the back of my acrylic. But I thought, you know, if you don't have paint on hand, but you have the vinyl, you could literally just layer the vinyl. You could do this is a cut within images. So you could do the swatch of color, and then you could put their name over top of it. So you don't even have to get into the paint if you don't want to. And so this is our little ornament. I'm going to make these into Rudolph. And you could paint these crazy fun colors. Again, my kids are kind of traditionalists, so I'm going to paint it brown and then put the little antlers and the nose and the eyes. So these are going to be what I'm using for the ornaments, so the cookie cutter ornaments. So I just went into shapes and grabbed this banner, and then I went up into flip, and then I flipped it and then wrote on it this way. And I actually just typed in a font that was a handwrite font, and then I curved the font. And so for this one, Brayer's 2022, again, it's just a shape, and then I did them separately. So Brayer's and then 2022, so that I could make it flow with the piece of paper. And then once you've done each and every one of these, you just want to make sure that you grab the design in its entirety, and then you attach it. So you can see it's already attached over here. So then that way the pen writes on the paper and it cuts all together and it's all one piece. So just remember that. And then for these, I don't know if this is going to work, guys. I don't know if this is going to work because it's so small, but we're going to give it a whirl. So I'm just going to create some family ornaments on those cute little, like the little family ones that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. And the little snowman one, and we're going to give it a whirl. If this does not work, if it's just too small, I mean, vinyl, it'll cut, but if the weeding process and, you know, everything, if it's just too small, then we'll just use Sharpies. We'll use Sharpies, and it might even be sweeter if it's your handwriting on that Christmas ornament anyway, right? So once you've done all of these things, the very next step would be to go in and turn off your basic cuts that were just templates. So you would turn off you know, each one of these, and then if you didn't want to cut this color behind their name, then you could turn that off. Once you've turned off the things that you don't want to cut that were just representations, the next thing you want to do is check your machine. So we're going to be using the Joy, and so now we're ready to make it. One thing I would remind you is just make sure you check your color sync, and to make sure that you don't have two different tones of black or two different tones of white, that kind of thing, because you want to make sure that, you know, everything is grouping together so you're not like putting the same black on a mat multiple times. Now I will point out to you that this white, which is, or these two things, is slightly different on purpose than this white, because these are going to be cut out of vinyl and this is going to be cut out of paper. And it's because I'm doing all different kinds of projects all at one time on one canvas that even becomes a problem. So unless you're doing something like this where you're doing multiple things like this, it won't be a big deal for you. But it's always good to go into Color Sync and check it out. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit Make It. At this point, the Joy is going to ask us if we want smart materials, matte, pre-folded cards, or both. Okay, so once you get to mattes, you can move things around if you need to. So I wanted to use the 4.5 by 6, and I decided to add a couple of more elements, so like Mom and Brayer's family, to my acrylic rounds. I wanted to be able to show you guys using the paint method versus using the vinyl method, and so I did add a couple of to those, and so it made it longer than 6 inches. So when you're doing that over in this sidebar, you're going to be able to change your mat size, and so it gives you both that are available for Joy. So I just wanted to show you guys that. Start with our white, so we'll hit continue. Okay, so now we can set our base material, and for each one of these, we're going to be able to change our base material. So we're going to be cutting out cardstock as well as vinyl, and so for the white, we're actually going to be using a premium vinyl. So it tells us that we need our fine point blade, which is already in our Joy, and to load the mat. So let's hop back over to the craft table. Okay, so here we are back on the craft table. So for each of your projects, no matter how many you're doing, you're going to be using a mat. So we have the 6-inch and we have the 12-inch, or you're going to be using smart vinyl. And so I'm going to be using vinyl, smart vinyl, and paper today for all of these. So if you are making bulk, or batch projects like I am today, just know that in between each one, you're going to want to go back to your computer or your, device and switch between types of materials so that your machine is cutting or knows that it's cutting a different type of material. If you don't, it's just going to assume that it's doing vinyl or paper or whatever each time. So just make sure that you hop back over and make any tweaks that you need to tweak if you are doing batch. Okay, so I'm going to start by putting the white on the mat, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut out all of the vinyls and the papers. I'll probably show you the paper because I want to show you the pen, but since we're going to be doing a lot of vinyl, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it all out at one time, and then we will come back together and do the fun part, putting it all together. You can use your scraping tool, but I really like to use a brayer with my vinyl. I just feel like it helps me to make sure I get all the bubbles out. And I will link this up down below if you guys have not used one of these. This is what you use when you're putting fabric onto the pink mats, and it gets all the bubbles out so that you're making sure you're getting a good cut for like applique and things. And I have a video on that. I'll put that up above. And that one you would use your Cricut maker, but I find this brayer is great for tons of stuff. Okay, so I've gone ahead and weeded out all of our vinyl, and so we have our paper cuts and we have our paper over here, and I have my transfer tape. So now we're actually ready to move on and start decorating all of these. By the way, this is the new weeding tool. So this is, I have the needle nose in it, and this is the traditional older one with the hook. So this one, by the way, you can take this and twist this and pull out this needle nose, and it has 4 different attachments. And I'm really excited about this, especially I like the needle one a lot. It helps you to get in all the little grooves and get the tiny little pieces out of letters, which was always my trouble. I would hook the letter and sometimes pull it up, not meaning to, just trying to get the centerpiece out. So the needle is perfect for that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start with the easiest ornament. So I'm going to start with the paper ornament, and then we're going to move on to the vinyl. That's what the transfer tape is for. And then we will end with our painting projects. Okay, so let's go ahead and shift everything out of the way and pull in our cookie cutter ornaments for our paper. Okay, so these are all the things we're going to use for our first ornament. So these were just the cookie cutter ornaments, and if I remember right, they were hanging up with all the ornaments. They could have been on the Hobby Lobby aisle with the like, you know how they have all like the serving dishes and things for a holiday? They could have been there, but I want to say they were hanging with the actual ornaments. And then these were actually something that I picked up last year from the Target dollar spot. They just had a bunch of little wreaths in this pack. And so just so you guys know, like right before that holiday hits, well, a couple months before, when they start putting out all the stuff like at Target, Dollar Tree, all those things, I'll go and get a bunch of these kind of little elements, not knowing what I'm going to use them for, but they're only $1, and so then I'll stash those away. So you're probably going to see a lot of that kind of stuff pop up in videos this season. Okay, so then we use the Cricut and we cut out our Merry Christmas and our Buyers 2022. So what I want to do is one of these, which will be this one, is going to be an ornament that I put on a gift. And then this one is going to be one that I actually hang on my tree. So what we're going to do is these little hot glue guns. So this is a hot glue pen, and this is Xyron. I use it for all like small paper projects. And then this is the larger Xyron. This is a low heat. So just depending on, what you want to use or what you have on hand. But if you haven't seen the pen ones and you do a lot of smaller paper crafting, you may want to check that out. And I'll put it down below in the description so you guys can find it easily. Okay, so let's start with We'll remove that one out of the way. Let's start with the snowflake. So we'll put those guys out of the way for a second. And so with your paper, what you want to do is obviously you could just, you know, attach it. But what I like to do is kind of curl the paper. So it's got this nice little wisp to it. So just run it along your finger. Nothing huge. And so then what that's going to do is it's going to allow the paper to sort of pop out or be 3D away from your wreath. So let's curve it just a little bit more. I do a little, so you can actually, you know, kind of curl this part this way and this one this way. And then we will put small touches of hot glue on either corner and adhere them to our snowflake. And it is literally that simple to make a personalized. We can always pull that hot glue away. Okay, and so then we're going to put a little bit of hot glue on the other side. Okay. Okay, so now that it's kind of 3D, you're gonna have to hold it, make sure that it adheres. And guys, just so you know, this is one of the reasons I love this glass mat. It protects my table when I'm using hot glue and paint and all those things. And so if you've not seen these glass mats, they are amazing. I will also put that down below. Okay, super cute, right? Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, so these are the elements we're going to use for the second ornament. So this one I envision hanging on a gift. And so what I wanted to do is put Merry Christmas off to the side just a little bit and then hang the wreath on it as well. And so I want this to be curved a little bit too, just because I think it's cuter than just, you know, flat paper. So I want to just kind of curve it in my fingers a little bit. And then we want to add our hot glue. Now the key with hot glue is make sure that it is fully dried, fully cured before you move on, you know, to like trying to attach the other side. So, and I am used to kind of touching hot glue. I use it so much. So, but it is a little warm, so you guys be careful. So we're just gonna let that dry for a moment, make sure it's good and dry, and then we're gonna pop a little bit of hot glue underneath this, and then we're going to just do the same to our wreath. So these wreaths are not perfect, and guys, you know, don't worry about perfection. When we're crafting, worry about having fun, and, you know, just worry about who's gonna receive it and how much they're gonna love it. So these little wreaths, they were only $1. I think there were 4 or 5 in the box. So you see it's not perfect there, but who cares? It's super cute. Okay, so let's just, I think it's time we can, yeah, it's cool. So we can pop that over, put a little glue on the back. And then once we get that in place, we can pull off any strings and reinforce it if we need to. So we'll just put that gingerly down. Super cute already. Guys, it's going to really, really dress up your gift. Okay? Okay, so that's pretty cool. So now what we're gonna do is the same thing, and this is so easy. So guys, just be creative, see things in the store, make things, have fun, personalize it with your friends' names or whatever the case may be, and craft early. Oh my, it's so cute. Guys, I'm in love with this. I am going to be making more of these for sure. And I may even do like the person's name on it instead of Merry Christmas. That would be really fun too. Okay, so let's go ahead and move these out of the way and get moving on our next ornament. Okay, so here we are with the materials for our second craft. And so this is going to be our first Christmas, or it's going to be, you know, baby's first Christmas, whatever you want it to be. But these cute little signs are available in the wood section at Hobby Lobby. And then I am pretty sure that I have seen them in the ornament section, you know, once the ornaments, like all the, you know, the seasonal stuff kind of gets out. They're really good about putting things in multiple spots. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use transfer tape. I'm going to use the grids, and we're going to pick up our design and place that onto our ornament. Now, just a tip for you guys, if you are new to Cricut, so you're just now getting started, do not use small whimsy font Okay, it will only frustrate you. So make sure that you're using something chunkier or just designs, trying to stay away from the tiny stuff until you get more used to vinyl, because especially in the weeding process, it can really be difficult and make you frustrated. And we don't want that. We want you to have fun. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Oh, and by the way, this is my brayer. So I use this anymore with all of my vinyl. It's just so much easier to do. Okay, so let's pop these out of the way for a moment, and then we're going to take our transfer tape, and I'm going to try to use my grids as much as possible and line it up with the bottom of my house, because after you've done all this work, right, you want everything to be straight. Everything to be straight. Okay, and this is another thing I love about my glass mat, guys. So when you're using vinyl, and see how my tape is just a little bit larger than my design, it doesn't stick to my table. I'm able to just peel it right up, no big deal. So the brayer allows you to get inside those little bitty cuts, okay, and pick all of that up. Okay. Now what we do is we're going to turn it over, start peeling it away. See, it's picking it up. And if for some reason it doesn't, because again, this is tiny little font, go back over it again with the brayer. But I can tell you that the brayer, I've had more luck with it, especially on small things, than I have my normal scraping tool. Look at that, guys. I think we're gonna have a winner. Ta-da! Fantastic. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to grab our sign. And so for the most part, I do have it a little bit off, but not terribly. So what we're going to do is just eyeball it, make sure that everything is good, that we're centered. Place that down, and then we're going to use our brayer and do the same thing. And vinyl is just that easy. It is just that simple. Honestly, the hardest thing about vinyl for me is deciding what I want to create. Okay, so you see my 8 wanted to come up, so maybe we'll put a little more pressure on that. And when you pull away your transfer tape, guys, make sure that you are pulling at an angle. Always at an angle. Yeah, there we go. I think we're out of the woods. Got all the letters down. Fantastic, guys. Absolutely great. Okay, so we're going to use that same transfer tape, not that one, this one, for many projects. So I'm just going to put it back on its protective backing, and then there we are. How super cute. Okay, a little tip before we move on to the third one. So this little needle, I was telling you about it before. So I realized that part of my S, like I hadn't weeded out that little piece of the S. And so I was able to take this needle nose and get that out after I had already moved it on to my surface. Okay, so here we are with our third ornament, and I love these. So these were just so fun. So I have so many of these kind of things on my tree that I bought at little personalization shops and stuff like that, or in the mall. And so my tree is mostly like nostalgic. Mine is all memories from different years. So I know some people have beautiful trees that are all one theme and all that kind of thing, and I think that's fantastic, but I don't have that. I don't have that here. So what I want to do is I want to create a personalized ornament for myself and for my niece. But the thing is, guys, is again, if you are new to Cricut, these little letters will drive you crazy. So maybe not attempt it if you are brand new to Cricut. Now the thing is the hard part is done. So it has been weeded out, which is yay. But now we still have to pick it up with a transfer tape, and we have to move it on to the surfaces. So I am super prayerful that this is going to work out, and I'm going to be able to do this. Now I did not cut out names for this one. I think I'm just going to put their family along the bottom, and then this one I actually did put our little family, for my husband and myself and my 2 little boys, which are now taller than me. So, but it's still cute. It's still cute. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and get our transfer tape and get it onto our letters. But before we do that, we need to trim them out because I don't want to accidentally pick up anything that I'm not, you know, looking to work with. Okay, so before we get started moving everything onto the ornament, I'm just going to take this little cloth with a little bit of alcohol in it and just clean it up, because sometimes when these ornaments are at the store, they can get really dusty and things, and this will allow the vinyl to stick to it as easily as possible. So I'm just going to clean that up and let those dry for a second. It dries super quick. And then I'm going to set those to the side, and we'll go ahead and pick up our first name. So I'm going to take my transfer tape, and we will take Peregrine family. Okay, and then I'm going to take my brayer. With these tiny little letters, it's so great to have this brayer because it's going to allow you solid pressure to get in between each of those letters. Okay, we may be able to lift it just directly from the table. That is working great. Okay, I am so determined for this to work. So I literally separated it, and I have the name. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can just put down the family name and then the 2020, because the F and the M on the word family did not want to work. So again, guys, I didn't say this was going to be perfect, right? But I wanted so badly to give this a shot. Okay, and peeling from a corner, it actually stayed down. Yay! It actually stayed down. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up the date. Okay, guys, I picked up the 2020, and I had to flip it over and do it on the opposite side just to get it to adhere. And guys, I am never going to fib to you and tell you that something was easy when it was not, because this was not easy to get it to pick up, but I really wanted to do it. And so sometimes perseverance, right? That's what you got to do. So this is not easy. Little tiny letters are an absolute bear, but if you want to do it, it is possible. Okay, so there we go. Yay, and it all stayed on. Okay, eek, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I've been wanting to do this forever, and it's not perfect, but it actually kind of contours with the snow, and so it's super cute. So I'm gonna do one more on time lapse, and hopefully this one's going to turn out as well as the snowman, maybe even better, and we'll move on to our next one. Take it from a side angle. You'll notice the date is not there. I had trouble trying to get the date to come off, and then I thought, you know what, that's totally fine. Brayer's family came off perfect, and so I'm going to go ahead and use what I have, and then I can always write the year on the back, because I like to have dates on everything, and most of the time it is on the back, but I like to kind of have that. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and put on everybody's name, and we'll move on to the next one. Okay, I got it all on there. A little perseverance, a little bit of patience, but it's all there. Super, super cute. And then obviously the one that we did for the little snowman, these are going to be really, really fun hanging on our Christmas trees this year. Okay, so for our fourth ornament, we're going to make Rudolphs. So these cute little Rudolph ornaments are super simple. We have the light bulb ornament that comes in a larger pack. We have the little antlers that we cut out. We have our eyes that we cut out of vinyl, our noses, and then I have gold paint. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the paint inside of the little light bulbs and shake them up, and then we're going to embellish them. And I have my little hot glue gun, or it's pen, hot glue gun pen, and then we're going to use that to adhere our antlers to our little light bulbs. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our paint into our bulbs. So basically all you want to do is you just want to screw it off and put some paint into your light bulb. My lid popped off. Okay, so then we're going to close that up, and then you just want to bang it around This is the fun part the little kid could do, right? These are plastic, so, you know, they drop them, who cares, right? No big deal. And so we just want to make sure that we get our paint all the way around. Okay, a little bit more. And then just leave that closed and our paint will dry. And so I already did one, so we have two, and then we have all the materials to do two reindeer. So what we want to do is, before we put on our antlers, we want that to be the absolute last thing that we do. We want to go ahead and put on our vinyl face. So we can take our transfer tape to pick up the eyes. That's the easiest thing, just to make sure that you know, get them so where he's not like cross-eyed or anything like that. So we will get our transfer tape on. Now for the noses, you could just take those off with your finger and put those in place. But we're going to go ahead and use our transfer tape. And you can use your brayer if you want to. So then we're going to put our little eye. See? He looks great. Perfect. Okay, so now we'll move on to the nose, and I was going to do that by hand anyway. Take our little nose, and then I'm thinking about right there. Super cute, right? Okay, so now we can just put our little antlers on. So we want to get our two antlers. And what I want to do is I want to take them and attach them to each other before I put them onto the top of the little reindeer, and I'll show you how. Okay, so I just turned them upside down, and then we're just going to use the smallest amount of hot glue. And again, why I love my glass mat, I don't have to worry about my table. And this hot glue will come right off that glass. It's not a big deal. So now what we're going to do is just let that adhere to itself and dry. And then once that dries, then we're going to attach it to our little Rudolph face. Okay, so while the hot glue was drying, I went ahead and put the face on the other reindeer. So now I just want to pick up my antlers, and they're one piece. And so then what I want to make sure that I do, I'm going to attach it to the circle. And this is just the way I'm doing it. Now you could do it any way on yours. You could attach it to the side, you could attach it here. I wanted to put it up here. I felt like that was the most sturdy location. And so I'm just going to use some hot glue and attach it right there. And so then I'll just put my hook through and hang it on my tree. Just so super cute and so easy. These would be great added to a gift or a kid craft or placed on the tree. So much fun. Okay, so here we are for our final ornament. And so we're going to be using these acrylic rounds, and they are clear. And so whenever you get them out of the package, they look like this because they have a protective coating on them. So you just want to peel that away. And you can even use your Cricut weeding tool to pull that off, get the little hook underneath there. But basically, this is what it's going to look like, and this is what we're going to work with. So we have two versions. So I have paint. So we're going to paint the back of those and lay the vinyl on the front. And then we could also, you know, if you don't have paint or you don't want to go that route and spend that time, you could always cut out a paint swatch from Cricut and then overlay your text on top of that. So it just depends on the way that you want to do this. So I'm going to start with the paint, just because I think it would be really cool, and it kind of gives it a 3-dimension, because you've got you know, the paint on the back, and then we're going to allow that to dry, and then we'll have the vinyl on the front. Okay, so let's start with the red. And so I'm going to put some onto my little palette here. So put the red to the side, and then I'm going to paint one side of the acrylic. And I think I just want to do, like, I need to get my little dot up at the top. And so then I just want to do some swatching, like through here, just in the area where I'm going to have the name, and then the lights and things will be up at the top. So then I'm going to set that off to the side to let that dry, and then I think I'm going to remove the cover and do one in green, and then we'll also do one of these with the vinyl, and this vinyl is like an Art Deco, so it kind of has a pattern to it, so that might be kind of cool. Okay, so while that paint is drying, I'm going to go ahead, I went ahead and took off the covers for 2 more of these, and so I'm going to try with the vinyl. I think I want to try the red. My guys are traditionalists. They don't get into pinks and blues and other things in their Christmas decor, so I'm going to make sure that I'm doing, you know, just red and green for them. So with the big piece of vinyl, you just pick it up by hand and place it on. Now for their names, I would strongly recommend that you use the transfer tape. So we'll just move that out of the way real quick, and then we'll grab Alex. Okay, and then we can use our brayer. And by the way, guys, there's a thunderstorm coming up on us. Thank goodness we have had no rain this summer. So if you hear my phone and sirens and beeping and that kind of thing, it's actually because I have the notifications turned on for weather today, because they're actually supposed to be pretty rough thunderstorms. So I apologize if you're hearing all the dinging and everything in the background. Okay, so then I'm gonna pick this up. So the name is coming off pretty good. Now for reference, this is everyday vinyl, so it's not, you can see the backer, you probably can't tell it on camera, but the backer is, there it goes. Oh goodness, sorry about that, guys. But the backer is flimsier than the other, and so it came off really, really easy. So now I have his name and I have the design, and so I want to go ahead and place it over. I really like the way this looks. I just need to make sure that, you know, his name is straight regarding the hole up above, so you know whenever we hang it, it's straight. And then you can take your brayer if you want to and go back over that. So that was actually a super easy lift. Now we still have to do the lights, but that by itself is already looking really good. Isn't that cute? I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take one of these, and so for the orientation of the lights, so I'm actually probably going to just hand place each one of these, and so I wanted to be able to choose my colors. You could have grouped them, actually not grouped, you could have attached them in Cricut Design Space. Group only keeps things together on the canvas, and attach is going to keep them in the same place on the mat. Okay, so just a little tidbit. And I'm going to put my 15 tips and tricks for beginners, and candidly for anybody, but up above so you guys can check that out. There's tons of little things like that in that video that will help you guys be better, or, you know, more efficient Cricut crafters. Okay, so I'm going to pick up the string of lights. Okay, so both of these are done, and I just have to tell you guys that I think the concept of the paint is so fun, and I'm still going to do this one, but it's not dry yet, like it's still wet, and of course, you know, it's kind of haphazard, but this is so easy, and it's so perfect, and there's no mess, and you don't have to, you know, let anything dry, and it overlaid perfectly. I am actually really loving it this way. I mean, you could just do the swipe, you know, of vinyl in the middle and their name, and you wouldn't have to do the extra, which I just thought the little lights were just so cute, but you don't have to do that. I mean, this would be an amazing gift tag, right? I mean, an ornament, absolutely, but a great gift tag that then could be turned into an ornament, you know, whoever you're gifting that to. I mean, that is just so stinking cute. I am really loving this. I think everybody's gonna get one of these for Christmas. Okay, so what did you think? So that was a lot of fun. Like, I had a ton of fun. I was actually excited when I woke up this morning because I knew that we were making this video, and I was really excited to make all these things. I was just like already ready for Christmas. Don't get me wrong, I love my fall, I love my Halloween, I have so much planned for that, and back to school, which for us is like in 2 weeks, but I am really ready just for the holidays and all the fun that comes along with that. I have links down in the description below for everything that we made today, and I would love for you to hop down and leave me a comment, say hi, and let me know that you were here, and I will see you guys next time.